This is a whole like deep dive into the story of the gecko. Hey, Steve.
Mr. Burns?
I got an idea that I don't know how I came across this one, but I did. They don't mention it, so I shouldn't mention it. I just want to play it and then see how the audience reacts, and then we can talk about it. Okay, so watch this.
He's a beast. He's got that dog in him. Oh.
This guy looks at the insurance game and he says, I'm gonna switch it up.
I saw it with my own eyes. Insurance changed overnight.
I mean, we're talking about a lizard.
From an early age, I knew he was different. And his parents argued with me. They wanted him to become a doctor. I said, no, he wants to do insurance and he's good at it.
He could cover anything. Pound for pound, the best I've ever seen.
Nobody went harder to make it easy to Geico.
A gecko is he's something else.
Oh, sure, he's the Geico gecko, but he's my best friend.
He means a lot to this community, this school. This isn't scale size.
In a way, it's like he took our town and the way we help each other and gave it to the world.
He influenced an entire generation.
He's a hero.
Yes.
Talking renters, jewelry, pet insurance. When it came to helping people, the gecko was born ready.
Oh my God! If we're talking about a lizard, and from another very iconic Geico mascot icon.
Here's where I've got to give Geico a lot of credit. They've run this campaign for 25 years. And a lot of businesses will run something and then, give up. And look, they did give up the move away from it a little while and then came back, which is great. There was a thing I was watching recently by Mark Ritson, who's a very, very famous marketer. And he was doing a presentation at an Effie, which is the Effectiveness Awards. And one of the things he talked about was, he came right out and he said the biggest mistake most advertisers make is they actually abandon working ideas way too soon. It was a really different idea for an insurance company to create this weird spokesperson. And look, Geico's a weird name. So although they stole a little bit of that idea from Aflac, which is one that we should talk about a little bit as well at some point, because Aflac kind of predated Geico. But good for them. Ran it for 25 years. It's been a great campaign.
I think Aflac, I know we're talking about Geico, but I think Aflac actually back in the 90s, the Geico's like 1999. And I think in the 90s, even late 80s, I think Aflac was doing the duck. So
yeah, but it's, good for them in terms of creating something. And then when you run something for that long, this is what it allows you to do. It allows you to do things where you don't mention it, and we all know.
There was a little chalkboard drawing of just the top of the gecko's head. And you're like, oh, wait a second, is that? And then it gets into it. And again, this is strange. We talk about storytelling all the time and how powerful storytelling is. And this is just this is a whole like deep dive into the story of the gecko, in a movie trailer format. But they've got the coach from high school holding up a Tigers jersey, which was just silly, right? Because there's no way the Geico played football. He could have been the football. Like give me a break, right? Having the best friend do his interview, bringing back cavemen from an earlier campaign. And there's actually, I'm gonna find the different links. There's different versions of this thing where there's one, it's like a 2-minute video. That's the one I'm going to put down in the comments. There's a 2-minute one. It's the caveman watches this documentary and he thinks it's going to be about him. And the best part is the disappointment he has and the angst he's feeling. And it's a whole thing. And it's like all about the caveman, barely about the gecko. And they revived these two very iconic things, put them together. And wow, like just to me, they used nostalgia. They used great storytelling. They used tropes, for their best benefit, and they put them all together in this thing. And then they created like multiple versions of it so that they could put it on all the different medias that are capable, the digital side and terrestrial media. So, oh man, this one hit me really hard, and I was like, okay, I got to put it up there. I know you're gonna know a little bit about the brand itself, but I just thought, man, this one hit me in the feels as an older guy in the industry. I was like, somebody else has got to feel the same way.
Here's the thing that's really interesting about this ad in this campaign, because it'd be easy to go, well, this is completely silly. We sell insurance. Insurance is serious. But here's the thing. No one cares about insurance. No one likes insurance. So by using the Geico, they've created kind of this entertaining thing. The Geico was always able to deliver the differentiating thing, which was so easy a Geico can do it. It was entertaining and it was strategic. Now, this one didn't drive any of those things. What this drove was just, I like them. And let's face it, how many people like their insurance company, have a positive emotional feeling towards their insurance company? Few. So strategically driving out a message that just does nothing but give people a little smile and attach some positive emotional feelings to our company does not hurt when you're in the insurance business. In fact, it's very strategic.
And you like to pull out the book, The Case for Creativity, and highlight highly, that economists have the highly refined numbers of exactly what really creative advertising does for a brand and for the mental state of the people that are now looking at them, seem more reliable, more trustworthy, and that they know what they're doing. And so when you have this very creative, you don't even have to mention the name of the company. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the company. It's like, oh my God, you guys are just awesome. And as soon as you have that feeling, it's like, yeah, I have to buy you. It sucks I have to buy you, but all right, fine. You're the one that I get along with the best.
If nothing else, Geico, through doing these types of ads, has created enough presence in the person's brain that at the time of buying car insurance, Geico may be considered.
Right, exactly.
And that's all marketing can do for you at that point, is get you to the party.
And you said at the beginning, and Mark Ritson is brilliant, and the whole idea of abandoning campaigns too early, and we've seen it. I mean, massive brands do it, all the time, unfortunately, because I don't know if marketers have to justify their pay. It's kind of like when we think about the engineers at any of the software companies, they have to just continue to earn their existence, so they make changes nobody wants. It's that holding on to a campaign that's going to work. I mean, 25 years that they've been keep bringing back the Geico, and they haven't gone from one to another. They've gone to like random things. They have this Hump Day camel commercial. They've got the woodchucks commercial. Like they tried using other animals, but they keep coming back to the one that they realize this one's the most interesting. This is the one that makes people feel the best, and they come back to it over and over again. And I think this was leading up to, they were doing a special presentation in 2024 in February, and so this was leading up. This was kind of their teaser up to that. And so we're talking a very current ad. This isn't something, we've done some historical ones, but it made me feel really good. And I'm a big F. So it made me want to highlight it and say, way to go, Geico, for doing what you do. It checked all the boxes for me.
It was absolutely awesome. And I'll give you my theory on why it is I think companies abandon ads too quickly, that they feel they need a refresh. And I think it's two things that drive it. Number one is they get bored with their own stuff. I don't know whether you experience it with your stuff, but I experience it with the podcast. Research the podcast, record the podcast, download it, make sure it's downloaded correctly. When someone else edits it and I've got to review it, by the time it's published, I'm tired of it. Oh my God, there's nothing interesting in this thing. That's how often I experience it. The consumer doesn't experience it the same way the company does. The other thing is, it becomes very easy to go, oh, this group loves this ad. And what becomes very easy is, I now want to go after this other group. So there's a bunch of things that can happen that can drive people off of successful campaigns. But the part is that what they all realize is when they gravitate off a successful campaign, it's really hard to replace it with another successful campaign. It's tough.
Geico's been lucky because they've been able to do this a couple of times with different mascots, and they highlight them in this one. I think my biggest takeaway for this, and what I'd love for marketers and business owners to understand, is lean into being creative. Number one, be creative. Be creative just because it's awesome. And listen, you can't be stupid. You can't be silly. It can't be, blah. But get creative. Really spend some time to get that message down pat. And then if and when you get your really awesome thing, don't just flip off of it because you want something new. The something else shiny isn't always gold. It could just be tin, and you don't necessarily always want to go after what's shiny. You definitely want to make sure that you get everything you can out of a campaign. And then 25 years later, we talked about a couple of campaigns that have done this. I think when I looked at it was 106 ads they did. Like 106 Geico ads. It works. So that's what I would do. Any last thoughts, Steve?
It was fun. I hadn't seen it, so it was great.
Well, listen, guys, if you're liking the content, let us know. Listen, we highlighted recently a suggestion from one of our listeners, or watchers. So please let us know an ad campaign that you'd like us to talk about. We can even do some research on it and find out why it was successful. But we'd love to hear from you. Like, share, comment, blah, blah, blah. Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon.